What is going on, Bucs fans? Evan Wanish here back at you. Yet another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today we are going to be discussing kind of a rumor. I wouldn't really call it a report at all. I would not call it a report. However, I do think it is something worth talking about before the season opens. So, with that being said, it is an article by Rick Stroud pondering the idea that wide receiver Mike Evans could be playing his final year in Tampa Bay. Is that the case? Maybe. Who knows? Rick Stroud wrote an article for the Tampa Bay Times. Mike Evans likely playing his last season with Bucs as talks hit snag. Now, when he's referring to talks, he's talking about contract talks. We had talked about earlier in the summer over this channel that the Buccaneers and Mike Evans were talking about a contract that was reported by Pewter Report, and a couple other people reported that as well. That was before training camp, and things got kind of quiet, and they couldn't come up with a deal. And it doesn't appear like they're going to come up with a deal before the regular season begins. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. It is very telling, though. And it's telling that Rick Stroud wrote this article. Stroud does not throw out stuff just to throw it out. So it is very interesting that he wrote this article. Stroud mentions guys like Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, who had issues with their teams, but ended up signing new contracts to avoid franchise tags and stuff like that. And one very telling thing is in the article here. Stroud talked to Mike Evans' agent, Derek Gilmore, and Gilmore said, and this is a quote, "It sickens Evans to see players hold out and get rewarded when he does everything for the organization on the field, in the community, off the field, working with other players in the organization." So Mike Evans' agent did not mince words there, and that is a very powerful figure in Mike Evans' personal and professional life. So for him to have that opinion is very strong, and I think it holds a lot of weight. And what he's saying there is mostly true. Like, Mike Evans is arguably one of the greatest Buccaneers, if not the greatest Buccaneer of all time. He has been not only a great player on the field, but he's been an even better person off of the field. He's the things he's done for the Tampa Bay area and everything like that has been fantastic, and just an absolute home run of a pick by Jason Light. But yet there's no contract. There's no contract. And Mike Evans is scheduled to be a free agent after this coming season. So he is going to be a free agent. We will see what happens there. Jason Light had a press conference on Thursday. He was asked about a potential Mike Evans contract extension. He declined to comment about it. And so Mike Evans is over 30. And the tough thing, he actually just turned 30, but it's tough because the Bucs, I wouldn't say the Bucs are in a rebuild. I would not say the Buccaneers are in a rebuild. I'd say they're more in like a retool sort of phase, but it all depends on how much they want to be paying a guy into his mid to late 30s. Do they want to be paying him big time money? I understand that it's Mike Evans, but at the same time, football, the NFL is a business. It is a business, and sometimes you have to make hard decisions. And I think that's what the Buccaneers are sort of trying to decide right now. And I'm sure the Buccaneers would have loved to have done a deal that made sense for them with Mike Evans. I'm sure Mike Evans would have loved to have done a deal with the Buccaneers as well. So it is tough. It is a tough situation to navigate. So we will see what happens. Stroud also mentions that the Buccaneers have Devin White and Anton Winfield also as UFAs this upcoming season. So you only have a certain amount of money. Like, you can't bring everybody back. I personally, if you want my personal opinion, I do think an exception should be made for Mike Evans. Like, I just think that's the type of player you need to keep around your organization for as long as he wants to play football. But I'm not the one making that decision. The Buccaneers are. So, and also Stroud mentions the thing about Mike Evans talking, and he talked this to the media a few weeks ago. I was actually at this press conference, and he noted that he was focusing on preparing for the season and not his contract situation. Here's the quote from Mike Evans: "Of course, I'd love to finish my career here. There's really nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to stay home and make a big deal about it. So I'm just out here working as hard as I can. That's what I'm doing. I'm here. I've always loved being here. And obviously, I want to stay here. And I'm sure they want to keep me." And Stroud ends it with this, because this is what Mike Evans ended that answer with: "But it's a business. And at the end of the day, It is a business. Football is a business, and hopefully the Buccaneers and Mike Evans can come up with something that makes business sense for them. So, what would this mean though for the Buccaneers beyond 2023? Well, it would be big shoes, right? Big shoes for a guy like Chris Godwin to fill, and truly, I think, truly a new era, a brand new era of Buccaneers football if Mike Evans were no longer to be in the fold. I know a lot of fans would be upset. I know a lot of fans would be upset, and rightfully so. I mean, it is a franchise icon. Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, John Lynch. I'm sure fans were not very happy when Warren Sapp left for the Raiders, when John Lynch went to the Broncos, when Derek Brooks was essentially forced to retire. Probably weren't too happy. Like franchise icons, they're tough to replace. They're even tougher to come by, right? So when you got them, I think you should keep them. They've done that with Levante David. Levante David has remained in Tampa Bay his entire career. I think Mike Evans should be the same way. However, we're not sure if the economics is going to work. And I think that's where Stroud is coming from. I don't think Stroud is definitively saying this will be Mike Evans' last season in Tampa Bay. I don't think he's saying that. However, I do think it poses an interesting question of I think most of us assumed when the reports and the videos and stories came out about, okay, they're working on an extension before training camp. I think a lot of us assumed, okay, yeah, that'll get done. That'll get done well before the season starts. I thought it was good. Me personally, I thought it was going to get done before training camp even began. Clearly, it didn't, and something clearly happened there. Whether they couldn't work out the money or they couldn't work out the years, they haven't come to an agreement yet, and thus Mike Evans is going to enter the 2023 season on a 1-year deal, essentially. So his contract will expire after the last game of the season. And it would be something. It would truly be a changing of the guard to not see Mike Evans in a Tampa Bay uniform. Hopefully, though, we don't have to witness that. I do think there is still a pretty strong chance that Mike Evans and the Buccaneers come up with some sort of agreement. I don't have any inside sources on this. I just have a hard time believing that the Buccaneers and Mike Evans aren't just destined for a lifelong marriage here. But we'll see. At the end of the day, just like Stroud's article says, and Mike Evans says, it is a business. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about Mike Evans' status heading into free agency this season. Do you think this could be his last season? If it is his last season, how do you think the Buccaneers should go about it? Should the Buccaneers look to replace him with somebody else? Should they look to Chris Godwin to maybe step up? Do you want to see Mike Evans back? I know the overwhelming thing is going to be yes, but tell me why. I want to hear a reason why you'd like to see Mike Evans back. Besides, he's a good player. We all know he's a great player. But why do you want to see Mike Evans back in a Buccaneers uniform? I think he means a lot more to the Buccaneers fans, not just for what he does on the field, but also off the field. I think the Buccaneers should reward him for that and reward him for his loyalty. For just like he said, he could, he's not going to sit at home. He could have made a little bit of a distraction here for not getting what he wanted. He's coming to work. He's coming to work every day, and he's trying to make the Buccaneers better. So I think the Buccaneers should reward him. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. How would you feel if Mike Evans was no longer a Buccaneer? I know it's a heavy question, but how would you feel if Mike Evans was no longer a Buccaneer? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Go check out Rick Stroud's article too at Tampa Bay Times. You can read the whole thing. Rick Stroud's thing. Like I said, Mike Evans likely playing his last season with the Bucs as talks hit snag. That is the headline. So we will see if the Buccaneers and Mike Evans can work out a contract. Hopefully they can. But goodbye for now, and talk to you soon.